Marshall Bruce Mathers III, known professionally as Eminem, is an American rapper and record producer. He is credited with popularizing hip-hop in Middle America and is critically acclaimed as one of the greatest rappers of all time. Eminem's global success and acclaimed works are widely regarded as having broken racial barriers for the acceptance of white rappers in popular music. While much of his transgressive work during the late 1990s and early 2000s made him widely controversial, he came to be a representation of popular angst of the American underclass and has been cited as an influence for many artists of various genres. After the release of his debut album Infinite and the extended play Slim Shady EP, Eminem signed with Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment and subsequently achieved mainstream popularity in 1999 with the Slim Shady LP. His next two releases, the Marshall Mathers LP and the Eminem Show, were worldwide successes and were both nominated for the Grammy Award for Album of the Year. After the release of his next album, Encore, Eminem went on hiatus in 2005, largely due to a prescription drug addiction. He returned to the music industry 4 years later with the release of Relapse, and Recovery was released the following year. Recovery was the best-selling album worldwide of 2010, making it Eminem's second album, after the Eminem Show in 2002, to be the best-selling album of the year worldwide. In the following years, he released the US #1 albums the Marshall Mathers LP2, Revival, Kamikaze and Music to Be Murdered By. Eminem made his debut in the film industry with the musical drama film 8 Mile, playing a fictionalized version of himself, and his track Lose Yourself from its soundtrack won the Academy Award for Best Original Song, making him the first hip-hop artist ever to win the award. Eminem has made cameo appearances in the films The Wash, Funny People, and The Interview and the television series Entourage. He has also developed other ventures, including Shady Records, a joint venture with manager Paul Rosenberg, which helped launch the careers of artists such as 50 Cent, D12 and Obi Trice, among others. He has also established his own channel, Shade 45, on Sirius XM Radio. In addition to his solo career, Eminem was a member of the hip-hop group D12. He is also known for collaborations with fellow Detroit-based rapper Royce da 5 feet 9 inches. The two are collectively known as Bad Meets Evil. Eminem is among the best-selling music artists of all time, with estimated worldwide sales of over 220 million records. He was the best-selling music artist in the United States of the 2000s and the best-selling male music artist in the United States of the 2010s, third overall. Billboard named him the Artist of the Decade. He has had 10 #1 albums on the Billboard 200 which all consecutively debuted at #1 on the chart, making him the first artist to achieve this, and 5 #1 singles on the Billboard Hot 100. The Marshall Mathers LP, The Eminem Show, Curtain Call, The Hits, Lose Yourself, Love the Way You Lie and Not Afraid have all been certified diamond or higher by the Recording Industry Association of America. Rolling Stone has included him in its lists of the 100 greatest artists of all time and the 100 greatest songwriters of all time. He has won numerous awards, including 15 Grammy Awards, 8 American Music Awards, 17 Billboard Music Awards, an Academy Award, a Primetime Emmy Award and an MTV Europe Music Global Icon Award. In 2022, Eminem was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Early life. Mathers was born on October 17, 1972, in St. Joseph, Missouri, the only child of Marshall Bruce Mathers Jr. and Deborah Ray Debbie. He is of English, Scottish, German, German-Swiss, Polish and Luxembourgish ancestry. His mother nearly died during her 73-hour labor with him. Eminem's parents were in a band called Daddy Warbucks, playing in Ramada Inns along the Dakotas-Montana border before they separated. Eminem's father, Bruce Jr., left the family, moving to California after having two other children, Michael and Sarah. His mother, Debbie, later had a son named Nathan Nate Kane Samara. During his childhood, Eminem and his mother shuttled between Detroit and Missouri, rarely staying in one house for more than a year or two and living primarily with family members. In Missouri, they lived in several places, including St. Joseph, Savannah, and Kansas City. As a teenager, Eminem wrote letters to his father. Debbie said that they all came back marked "Return to Sender." When he was a child, a bully named D'Angelo Bailey severely injured Eminem's head in an assault, an incident which Eminem later recounted on the song Brain Damage. Debbie filed a lawsuit against the public school for this in 1982. The suit was dismissed the following year by a Macomb County, Michigan judge, who said the schools were immune from lawsuits. Eminem and his mother lived for much of his youth in a working-class, primarily black, Detroit neighborhood. He and Debbie were one of 3 white households on their block, and Eminem was beaten several times by black youths. As a child, he was interested in storytelling, aspiring to be a comic book artist before discovering hip-hop. Eminem heard his first rap song on the Breakin' soundtrack, a gift from Debbie's half-brother Ronnie Polkinghorne. His uncle was close to the boy and later became a musical mentor to him. When Polkinghorne committed suicide in 1991, Eminem stopped speaking publicly for days and did not attend his funeral. Eminem's home life was seldom stable. He frequently fought with his mother, whom a social worker described as having a very suspicious, almost paranoid personality. When her son became famous, Debbie dismissed criticism, saying that she had sheltered him and was responsible for his success. In 1987, Debbie allowed runaway Kimberly Ann Kim Scott to stay at their home. Several years later, Eminem began an on-and-off relationship with Scott. After spending 3 years in 9th grade due to truancy and poor grades, he dropped out of Lincoln High School at age 17. Although interested in English, Eminem never explored literature and he disliked math and social studies. Eminem worked at several jobs to help his mother pay the bills. One of the jobs he had was with Little Caesars Pizza in Warren, Michigan. He later said she often threw him out of the house anyway, often after taking most of his paycheck. When she left to play bingo, he would blast the stereo and write songs. At age 14, Eminem began rapping with high school friend Mike Ruby. They adopted the names Mannix and M, the latter evolving into Eminem. Eminem sneaked into neighboring Osborne High School with friend and fellow rapper Proof for lunchroom freestyle rap battles. On Saturdays, they attended open mic contests at the Hip Hop Shop on West 7 Mile Road, considered ground zero for the Detroit rap scene. Struggling to succeed in a predominantly black industry, Eminem was appreciated by underground hip-hop audiences. When he wrote verses, he wanted most of the words to rhyme. He wrote long words or phrases on paper and, underneath, worked on rhymes for each syllable. Although the words often made little sense, the drill helped Eminem practice sounds and rhymes. Career 1988–1997, Early career, I and family struggles. None. 1997–1999, Introduction of Slim Shady, I the Slim Shady LP/I and rise to success. None. 1999–2003, I the Marshall Mathers LP/I and I the Eminem Show/I. None. 2003–2007, Production work, I Encore/I and musical hiatus. None. 2007–2009, Comeback and I Relapse/I. None. 2009–2011, I Recovery/I and Bad Meets Evil Reunion. None. 2012–2014, I the Marshall Mathers LP2/I. None. 2014–2016, I Shady 15/I and I Southpaw/I. None. 2017-2019, I Revival/I and I Kamikaze/I. None. 2020 present, I Music to be Murdered by/I, Super Bowl LVI, and I Curtain Call 2/I. None. Artistry. Influences, style, and rapping technique. Eminem has cited several MCs as influencing his rapping style, including Esham, Kool G Rap, Masta Ace, Big Daddy Kane, Nucleus, Ice-T, Mantronix, Mel Mel, LL Cool J, Beastie Boys, Run D.M.C, Rakim, and Boogie Down Productions. In How to Rap, Gorilla Black notes that Eminem studied other MCs to hone his rapping technique. Eminem listened to everything, and that's what made him one of the greats. In the book, other MCs also praise aspects of his rapping technique: varied, humorous subject matter, connecting with his audience, carrying a concept over a series of albums, complex rhyme schemes, bending words so they rhyme, multisyllabic rhymes, many rhymes to a bar, complex rhythms, clear enunciation, and the use of melody and syncopation. Eminem is known to write most of his lyrics on paper, taking several days or a week to craft lyrics, being a workaholic and stacking vocals. Examples of hip-hop subgenres that Eminem's music has been described as include horrorcore, comedy hip-hop, and hardcore hip-hop. Eminem also incorporates rap rock into his music and has cited rock acts during the 1970s and 1980s, such as Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin, as influences in his music. Alter egos. Eminem uses alter egos in his songs for different rapping styles and subject matter. His best-known alter ego, Slim Shady, first appeared on the Slim Shady EP and was in the Slim Shady LP, the Marshall Mathers LP, The Eminem Show, Encore, Relapse, the Marshall Mathers LP2, Kamikaze, and Music to be Murdered by. In this persona, his songs are violent and dark, with a comic twist. Eminem downplayed Slim Shady on Recovery because he felt it did not fit the album's theme. Another character is Ken Conniff, a homosexual who pokes fun at Eminem's songs. Ken was created and originally played by fellow Detroit rapper Aristotle on the Slim Shady LP, where Conniff makes a prank call to Eminem. An argument after the album's release prompted Eminem to use the Conniff character on Marshall Mathers and later albums. Aristotle, angry with Eminem's use of his character, released a mixtape in his Conniff persona ridiculing him. Collaborations and productions. Although Eminem usually collaborates with Aftermath Entertainment and Shady Records rappers such as Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, D12, Obi Trice and Yelawolf, he has also worked with Redman, Kid Rock, DMX, Lil Wayne, Missy Elliott, Jay-Z, Drake, Rihanna, Nas, Nicki Minaj, Exhibit, Method Man, Jadakiss, Fat Joe, Sticky Fingers, T.I., and Young Jeezy. Eminem rapped a verse in a live performance of Busta Rhymes' Touch It remix at the 2006 BET Music Awards. He appeared on Akon's single Smack That from Convicted, Lil Wayne's hit Drop the World and My Life. Eminem was the executive producer of D12's first two albums, Obi Trice's Cheers and Second Rounds on Me and 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Tryin' and The Massacre. He has produced songs for other rappers such as Jadakiss Welcome to D-Block, Jay-Z's Renegade and Moment of Clarity, Lloyd Banks On Fire, Warrior Part 2 and Hands Up, Tony Yayo's Drama Setter, Trick Tricks Welcome to Detroit and Exhibit's My Name and Don't Approach Me. Most of the Eminem Show was produced by Eminem and his longtime collaborator, Jeff Bass, and Eminem co produced Encore with Dr. Dre. In 2004, Eminem was co executive producer of Tupac's posthumous album Loyal to the Game with Shocker's mother, A. Feni. He produced the UK #1 single Ghetto Gospel, featuring Elton John, The Cross, from the NAS album God's Son, and 8 tracks on Obi Trice's 2006 album Second Rounds on Me. Eminem produced several tracks on Trick Tricks the Villain and produced 4 tracks on Kashi's 2013 album The County Hound 2. Eminem is considered unusual in structuring his songs around the lyrics, rather than writing to beats. One exception was Stan, which came from an idea and scratch track produced by the 45 King. After doing little production on Relapse and Recovery, Eminem produced a significant portion of the Marshall Mathers LP2. He said about producing his own music, "Sometimes, I may get something in my head, like an idea or the mood of something that I would want, and I'm not always gonna get that by going through different tracks that other people have made. They don't know what's in my head. I think maybe it helps, a little bit, with diversity, the sound of it, but also, I would get something in my head and want to be able to lay down that idea from scratch." In 1998, when his beef with rapper Cage was still happening, New York rapper Necro met Eminem and gave him a CD with the beat to what eventually became the beat for the song Black Helicopters by rap group Non-Fiction. Despite Eminem never using it, Necro still said positive things about Eminem and would appear on SHADE 5 years later. Comparisons with other artists. As a white performer prominent in a genre influenced by black artists, Eminem has been compared, much to his chagrin, to Elvis Presley, and has lyrically been compared to Bob Dylan. Rapper Asher Roth has been compared to Eminem, and Roth devoted a song on his album to him, which he took offense to. The accomplished trumpeter Nicholas Payton has called Eminem the Bixby Beck of hip-hop. Other ventures. Shady Records. Following Eminem's multi-platinum record sales, Interscope offered him his own label. He and Paul Rosenberg founded Shady Records in late 1999. Eminem signed his Detroit collective, D12 and rapper Obi Trice to the label and signed 50 Cent in a 2002 joint venture with Drive Dre's Aftermath label. In 2003, Eminem and Dr. Dre added Atlanta rapper Stat Quo to the Shady Aftermath roster. DJ Green Lantern, Eminem's former DJ, was with Shady Records until a dispute related to the 50 Cent Jadakiss feud forced him to leave the label. The Alchemist is currently Eminem's tour DJ. In 2005, Eminem signed another Atlanta rapper, Bobby Creekwater, and West Coast rapper Kashi's to Shady Records. On December 5, 2006, the compilation album Eminem Presents, The Re-Up, was released on Shady Records. The project began as a mixtape, but when Eminem found the material better than expected, he released it as an album. The Re-Up was intended to introduce Stat Quo, Kashi's, and Bobby Creekwater. While he was recording Infinite, Eminem, Proof and Con Artis assembled a group of fellow rappers now known as D12, short for Detroit 12 or Dirty Dozen, who performed in a style similar to Wu-Tang Clan. In 2001, D12's debut album, Devil's Night, was released. The first single from the album was Shit on You, followed by Purple Pills and Fight Music. Purple Pills was rewritten for radio and television, removing many of the song's references to drugs and sex and renamed Purple Hills. After their debut, D12 took a 3-year break from the studio. They reunited in 2004 for their second album, D12 World, which included the hit singles My Band and How Come. American Psycho 2 featuring Cypress Hill member, Be Real, was another popular hit. According to D12 member Bizarre, Eminem was not featured on his album Blue Cheese and Coney Island because he's busy doing his thing. In January 2014, Bass Brothers announced that D12 had returned to record at FBT Studio and they were working on an album with Eminem on at least 3 songs. Bizarre reported that he was still part of the group and that the album was scheduled for a 2014 release. Shade 45. Eminem established his own channel, Shade 45, that plays uncut hip-hop. Eminem also established a new morning show, Sway in the Morning with Sway Calloway, a lively morning show that airs at 8 a.m. Monday-Friday. Eminem promoted the station in a 2004 mock national convention at the Roseland Ballroom in New York City, in which Donald Trump endorsed him. On his album Revival, Eminem expressed his regret at having collaborated with Trump, rapping, "Wish I would have spit on it before I went to shake his hand at the event." Mom's Spaghetti Restaurant. On September 29, 2021, Eminem and Union Joints opened a spaghetti restaurant at 2131 Woodward Avenue in Detroit. It is a reference to the lyrics "His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy / there's vomit on his sweater already." Mom's Spaghetti from the song Lose Yourself, which became an internet meme. Mom's Spaghetti was previously a pop-up in Detroit in 2017 and at Coachella in 2018. Acting career. After small roles in the 2001 film The Wash and as an extra in the 1998 Korn music video for Got the Life, Eminem made his Hollywood debut in the semi-autobiographical 2002 film 8 Mile. He said it was a representation of growing up in Detroit rather than an account of his life. He recorded several new songs for the soundtrack, including Lose Yourself. Eminem was absent from the ceremony and CO composer Luis Resto accepted the award. Eminem voiced an aging, corrupt, Ebonics-speaking police officer in the video game 50 Cent, Bulletproof, and guested on the Comedy Central television show Crank Yankers and a web cartoon, The Slim Shady Show. He was signed to star in an unmade film version of Have Gun Will Travel, and was considered for the role of David Rice in the 2008 film Jumper. Eminem had a cameo appearance, arguing with Ray Romano, in the 2009 film Funny People. In a 2010 interview with Jonathan Ross, he stated, "You know, I love music so much. This is my passion, this is what I want to do. Not saying that I won't do a movie ever again, but this is me." He played himself in the Entourage Season 7 finale Lose Yourself with Christina Aguilera. Although Eminem was offered the lead role in the 2013 science fiction film Elysium, he turned it down because director Neil Blomkamp would not change its location from Los Angeles to Detroit. Eminem had a cameo appearance as himself in the 2014 film The Interview. During an interview with the main character, Dave Skylark, Eminem satirically comes out as gay. Charity work. Eminem established the Marshall Mathers Foundation to aid disadvantaged youth. The foundation works in conjunction with a charity founded by Norman Yatema, a Detroit attorney. During the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, he donated a pair of Air Jordan 4 Retro Eminem Carhartt shoes, which are rare, to be raffled off with proceeds going to COVID-19 relief. That same year, he donated Mom's Spaghetti, a reference to a line in his song Lose Yourself, to healthcare workers at Henry Ford Health System in Detroit. Advertising. Eminem appeared in 2 commercials which were shown during Super Bowl XLV. In the first, a 1-minute spot for Lipton's Brisk Iced Tea, he is a claymation figure. In the second, a 2-minute ad, the longest in Super Bowl history at the time, for the Chrysler 200, Eminem drives through Detroit to his show at the Fox Theater. Books and memoirs. On November 21, 2000, Eminem published Angry Blonde, a non-fiction book featuring a commentary of several of his own songs, along with several previously unpublished photographs. On October 21, 2008, his autobiography The Way I Am was published. The book was first published on October 21, 2008, by Dutton Adult. It is a collection of Eminem's personal stories, reflections, photographs, original artwork, and original lyric sheets from Stan and The Real Slim Shady. It details his struggles with poverty, drugs, fame, heartbreak, family, and depression, along with stories about his rise to fame and commentary on past controversies. The book is illustrated with never-before-published photos of Eminem's life. It also contains original drawings, previously unpublished lyric sheets, and other rare memorabilia. The autobiography is named after the song of the same name. An autobiography of Eminem's mother was published the following month, in which Debbie Nelson describes her childhood and adolescence, meeting Eminem's father and her son's rise to fame. Royalty flow. In September 2017, a company called Royalty Flow filed to issue an IPO under SEC Regulation A and to raise money with the intent of purchasing either 15% or 25% of Eminem's former production team's share of his sound recording royalties. However, the arrangement has no involvement from the rapper himself. A representative for Eminem sent Variety the following statement: Eminem is not involved in any deals for the sale of recording royalties and has no connection to this company. The decision to offer the royalty stream for sale or otherwise was made independently by a third party who retains royalties for an early portion of his catalog, and Eminem was not consulted. Royalty Flow never sold a share. In April 2018, 2 days before it was set to wrap up raising money from initial investors, a precursor to going public, Nasdaq revoked the company's conditional approval to be listed on its market. Personal life. Family. Eminem has been scrutinized, both as a rapper and personality-wise. He was twice married to Kimberly Ann Scott. He met Scott in high school while he stood on a table with his shirt off rapping LL Cool J's "I'm Bad." Scott and her twin sister Dawn had run away from home. They moved in with Eminem and his mother when he was 15, and he began an on and off relationship with Scott in 1989. Mathers and Scott were married in 1999 and divorced in 2001. Their daughter Haley Jade Scott Mathers was born on December 25, 1995. Although Eminem told Rolling Stone in 2002, "I would rather have a baby through my penis than get married again," he and Scott briefly remarried in January 2006. He filed for divorce in early April, agreeing to joint custody of Haley. Haley is a social media influencer, specifically for fashion and beauty. Eminem also had custody of his sister-in-law Dawn's daughter, and Scott's child from another relationship. He had legal custody of his younger half-brother Nathan. In early 2010, Eminem denied tabloid reports that he and Scott had renewed their romantic relationship. However, in the same statement, his representative also confirmed that they now maintain a friendly relationship. In his 2013 song Headlights, Eminem apologized to and reiterated his love for his mother. Health problems. Eminem has spoken publicly about his addiction to prescription drugs, including Vicodin, Ambien, and Valium. According to friend and fellow D12 member Proof, Eminem first straightened out in 2002. During the production of 8 Mile, Eminem, working 16 hours a day, developed insomnia. An associate gave him an Ambien tablet which knocked out, encouraging him to obtain a prescription. This was Eminem's first experience of drug addiction, which would affect him for several years. Near the end of production on Encore, he would just go into the studio and goof off a pocket full of pills. Eminem began taking the drugs to feel normal, taking a ridiculous amount. "I could consume anywhere from 40 to 60 Valium. Vicodin, maybe 30. The drugs would put him to sleep for no more than 2 hours, after which he would take more." Eminem's weight increased to 230 pounds and he was regularly eating fast food. "The kids behind the counter knew me, it wouldn't even faze them. Or I'd sit up at Denny's or Big Boy and just eat by myself. It was sad." Eminem became less recognizable due to his weight gain and once overheard 2 teenagers arguing about whether or not it was him. Eminem ain't fat. 2007 overdose. 2020 home invasion. On April 5, 2020, Matthew Hughes, a 26-year-old homeless man, broke into Eminem's house, breaking a kitchen window with a paving stone. Eminem woke up with Hughes standing behind him and he said that he was there to kill him. Hughes was on a $50,000 cash bond and was charged with first-degree home invasion and malicious destruction of property. Politics. Eminem has expressed his political views in multiple songs, however, he has refrained from direct endorsements of politicians, focusing more on criticisms instead. The first was Mosh, which was released in 2004, a few weeks before the 2004 United States presidential election, and heavily criticized then-President George W. Bush but did not directly endorse John Kerry either. He would not express political views again until the 2016 United States presidential election when he released Campaign Speech, which criticized presidential candidate Donald Trump. The following year, he criticized Trump in a freestyle titled The Storm. In the freestyle, he expressed support for former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick and the U.S. national anthem protests, and expressed his displeasure for any of his fans that support Trump. In his song Darkness, he heavily references the 2017 Las Vegas mass shooting, and at the end of the music video expresses his support for gun control. The week before the 2020 United States presidential election, he approved his song Lose Yourself to be used in a campaign video for Joe Biden. After the United States Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, Eminem posted a tweet to his Twitter expressing his displeasure for the decision, saying, "As a father, it pisses me off that women have fewer rights today than just a few days ago. We are fucking going backwards. Here's how to help in Michigan." And included a link to a pro-choice organization in Michigan. Feuds. Eminem has had lyrical feuds during his career with many recording artists, including Christina Aguilera, Machine Gun Kelly, Everlast, Cage, Insane Clown Posse, Will Smith, Milkbone, Mariah Carey, Nick Cannon, Limp Bizkit, Benzino, J.A. Rule, Vanilla Ice, Canibus, Jermaine Dupri, Joe Budden, Lord Jamar, and Charlamagne Tha God. Insane Clown Posse. The feud began in 1997 when Eminem was throwing a party to promote his debut EP, Slim Shady EP. He gave Joseph Bruce a flyer which stated featuring appearances by Esham, Kid Rock, and ICP. Bruce asked why Eminem was promoting a possible Insane Clown Posse appearance without first contacting the group. Eminem explained, "It says maybe. Maybe you will be there, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you right now. You guys come into my release party, or what?" Bruce, upset over not being consulted, responded, "Fuck no, I ain't coming to your party. We might have, if you would've asked us first, before putting us on the fucking flyer like this." Eminem took Bruce's response as a personal offense, subsequently attacking the group in radio interviews. Bruce and Utzler responded with a parody of Eminem's My Name Is entitled Slim Anus and other tracks including Nuttin' But a Bitch Thing and Please Don't Hate Me. Eminem insulted Insane Clown Posse on various tracks from his album The Marshall Mathers LP, including Marshall Mathers and Ken Conniff. In 2002, Eminem briefly dissed them on his single Business from The Eminem Show. Insane Clown Posse talked about the feud being squashed in an interview with MTV, saying that Proof squashed the conflict in 2005, which was followed by a bowling game between members of D12 and Psychopathic Records. Violent J stated that, "He contacted us and we had a bowling game, it was really cool. We're something different. They could have skipped over us and said forget them, but they included us and said let's squash it." Everlast and Limp Bizkit. In the early 2000s, Eminem was notified while on the Anger Management Tour that former House of Pain member Everlast had mocked him on a song. Everlast claimed that while passing by Mathers in a hotel lobby, Mathers gave him a weird look. Everlast's verse from the Dilated People's all-star track Eardrums Pop contained a thinly veiled reference to Eminem and went on to warn you might catch a beatdown out where I come from in his recounting of the incident. Taking offense to this, Eminem and D12 quickly began work on a retaliatory song, I Remember, which ripped Everlast several times in public and with the song. Eminem and D12 responded with Quitter, the second half of which is a takeoff on Tupac's hit M Up. The track ends with the spoken words, "Fuck him, that's it, I'm done, I promise, I'm done, that's it." It was reported that longtime friends of Eminem, Limp Bizkit, were meant to be featured on the song, but Fred Durst cancelled at the last moment. The record continued its release without featuring Limp Bizkit, causing the Everlast Mathers dispute to continue. In a TRL interview, Limp Bizkit member, DJ Lethal, made a statement that if Mathers and Everlast were to fight in real life, Everlast would win. This angered Eminem to the point of rage, and an insulting track aimed at both Everlast and Limp Bizkit appeared on D12's mainstream debut, Devil's Night, as the track Girls. Recently, things seem to have settled and Eminem has no longer been heard insulting Everlast or Limp Bizkit. It is currently unknown if the dispute is resolved. Cannabis. The animus between Cannabis and Eminem started when Cannabis and Wyclef Jean confronted Eminem and asked him if he ghost-wrote the track The Ripper Strikes Back by LL Cool J. Eminem denied that he wrote the track. After he was confronted, he said Cannabis was rude to him. 2 years later, Cannabis went to see Eminem on the Warped Tour and apologized to him for his reactions and asked him if he still wanted the track. Eminem agreed, but when he heard the track Fuck You from Cannabis album 2000 BC, he thought the track was directed at him and LL Cool J. Shortly afterwards, Eminem released his second album The Marshall Mathers LP, and Cannabis decided to continue the story of Eminem's single Stan. He titled the track You Didn't Care, and it continued to take shots at Eminem. Eminem decided to take more shots at Cannabis on his album The Eminem Show on tracks such as Say What You Say, When the Music Stops and Square Dance. Even though Cannabis did not immediately respond to the tracks, Eminem continued to take shots at him, including a track Eminem was featured on with Exhibit, titled My Name from Exhibit's album Man vs. Machine. On November 19, 2002, Cannabis responded with the track titled Dr. C Ph.D. Over a year later, Eminem released the track Can I Bitch. He attacked Cannabis in a humorous manner. Since then the hostilities have cooled down, but Cannabis tried to provoke a reignition of it when he leaked a track titled Air Strike, that featured vocal parts of D12, where Cannabis takes shots at Eminem and his deceased friend Proof. D12 member Swift responded to the record publicly and had the following to say about DZK. Asked us to do a track with him when he already was teamed up with Cannabis without us knowing. They dissed M, took our verses, and added them to the song, so they can bring traffic and make it seem like we were turning on M, as a desperate attempt to be heard after ducking and dodging M for 7 years. It was a straight home move. Michael Jackson. The music video for Just Lose It generated controversy by parodying singer Michael Jackson's child molestation trial, plastic surgery, and an incident in which Jackson's hair caught on fire while filming a Pepsi commercial in 1984. It was banned on the BET channel, after complaints from Benzino and others. Both were only seen on BET, uncut. However, MTV did not drop it and the video became one of the most requested on the channel. A week after the release of Just Lose It, Jackson called into the radio show of Steve Harvey to report his displeasure with the video. "I am very angry at Eminem's depiction of me in his video," Jackson said in the interview. "I feel that it is outrageous and disrespectful. It is one thing to spoof, but it is another to be demeaning and insensitive." The singer continued, "I've admired Eminem as an artist, and was shocked by this. The video was inappropriate and disrespectful to me, my children, my family and the community at large. Many of Jackson's supporters and friends spoke out about the video, including Stevie Wonder, who called the video kicking a man while he's down and bullshit, and Steve Harvey, who declared, Eminem has lost his ghetto pass. We want the pass back. Eminem later apologized in an interview with Sway Calloway and said, I never meant to intentionally diss or bash anybody and it was just pure jokes. J.A. Rule. Eminem's conflict with J.A. Rule started after 50 Cent signed to Shady Records and Aftermath. J.A. Rule stated that he had a problem with Eminem and Dr. Dre of signing someone he had conflict with. On November 19, J.A. Rule and IRV Gotti were special guests on Star and Buck Wild's morning show on Hot 97 NYC. Gotti claimed to have legal documents referring to an order of protection 50 Cent has on him. J.A. Rule threatened that if 50 Cent released any diss track, he would take action towards his two producers. However, Dr. Dre was the one who produced 50 Cent's track Back Down in 2003 from the album Get Rich or Die Tryin', which included lyrics insulting not only Murder Incorporated, but J.A. Rule's mother, wife, and children. In the song, he raps, "Your mommy, your pappy, that bitch you chassin' your lil dirty ass kids, I'll fucking erase them." Busta Rhymes decided to join the conflict when he was featured on the track Hail Mary 2003, with Eminem and 50 Cent. The feud intensified when J.A. Rule released a diss called Loose Change in which he took shots at 50 Cent as well as Eminem, calling the latter feminine and Dr. Dre bisexual and rapping that Suge Knight knew of Dre bringing transvestites home. It includes also the lyrics insulting Eminem's famously estranged mother Debbie Mathers, his ex-wife Kim and his then 8-year-old daughter Haley. You claim your mother's a crackhead and Kim is a known slut, so what's Haley gonna be when she grows up? Eminem, along with D12 and Obi Trice, responded with the track Do Re Mi. Since then, the rift has cooled down. Benzino and I The Source/I Magazine. None. Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon. Eminem has written several songs referring to a relationship with R&B singer Mariah Carey, although she denies that they were ever intimate. Eminem has referenced her on many songs, including When the Music Stops, Superman, Jimmy Crack Corn, Bagpipes from Baghdad and The Warning. While Superman was released in 2003, Carey released a song entitled Clown on her album Charm Bracelet, released in 2002, which makes similar references in line with her 2009 hit Obsessed. Eminem's Bagpipes from Baghdad from his album Relapse disparages Carey and husband Nick Cannon's relationship. Cannon responded to Eminem by saying his career is based on racist bigotry and that he would get revenge on Eminem, joking that he may return to rapping. Eminem later stated that the couple misinterpreted the track and it was wishing the two the best. Cannon also stated that there were no hard feelings and that he just had to express his feelings about the song. In 2009, Carey released Obsessed, about an obsessed man who claims to have a relationship with her. Cannon claimed that the song was not an insult directed at Eminem. However, Eminem responded in late July 2009 by releasing a track titled The Warning. It contained samples of voicemail recordings which Eminem claimed were left by Carey when the two were together. Eminem also hinted that he had other evidence of their relationship in his possession. A little over a year later in September 2010, Cannon responded with the song I'm a Slick Rick, making fun of Eminem. Moby. After the release of the Marshall Mathers LP, popular electronic music artist Moby began speaking out against the album's lyrics, citing references to misogyny and homophobia as unacceptable. Eminem responded back with insulting Moby in Without Me, the lead single off his next album The Eminem Show. In 2004, Moby praised Eminem for criticizing then U.S. President George W. Bush in the song Mosh, a track from Encore. The feud has since ended. From iKamikaze/I. None. Controversies. Legal issues. In 1999, Eminem's mother sued him for $10 million, claiming he was slandering her on the Slim Shady LP. Litigation concluded in 2001, resulting in an award of $1,600 for her damages. On June 3, 2000, Eminem was arrested during an altercation with Douglas Dale at a car audio store in Royal Oak, Michigan, when he pulled out an unloaded gun and pointed it at the ground. The next day, in Warren, Michigan, he was arrested again for assaulting John Guerra in the parking lot of the Hot Rock Cafe when he saw him kissing his wife. Eminem recreated the Guerra assault in the Kiss on the Eminem Show. He pleaded guilty to possession of a concealed weapon and assault, receiving 2 years probation. However, Guerra's assault charge was dropped as part of the plea agreement. On July 7, 2000, Kim attempted suicide by slashing her wrists, later suing Eminem for defamation after describing her violent death in Kim. Sanitation worker D'Angelo Bailey sued Eminem for $1 million in 2001, accusing him of invading his privacy by publicizing information placing him in a false light in Brain Damage, a song that portrays him as a violent school bully. Although Bailey admitted picking on Eminem in school, he said he merely bumped him and gave him a little shove. The lawsuit was dismissed on October 20, 2003. Judge Deborah Servito, who wrote a portion of her opinion in rap-like rhyming verse, ruled that it was clear to the public that the lyrics were exaggerated. On June 28, 2001, Eminem was sentenced to 1 year's probation and community service and was fined about $2,000 on weapon charges stemming from an argument with an employee of Psychopathic Records. On March 31, 2002, French jazz pianist Jacques Laussier filed a $10 million lawsuit against Eminem and Dr. Dre, claiming that the beat for Kill You was taken from his instrumental Pulsion. Laussier demanded that sales of the Marshall Mathers LP be halted and any remaining copies destroyed. The case was later settled out of court. In 2006, Eminem was accused of assaulting Mayad Jarbu, a resident of Royal Oak, Michigan, in the bathroom of a Detroit strip club, but was never charged. 2 years later, Jarbu sued Eminem for more than $25,000 in damages. In 2007, Eminem's music publishing company and Martin-affiliated sued Apple Incorporated and Aftermath Entertainment, claiming that Aftermath was not authorized to negotiate a deal with Apple for digital downloads of 93 Eminem songs on Apple's iTunes. The case against Apple was settled shortly after the trial began, in late September 2009. In July 2010, the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit ruled in FBT Productions, LLC v. Aftermath Records that FBT Productions and Eminem were owed a royalty of 50% of Aftermath's net revenue from licensing his recordings to companies such as Apple, Sprint Corporation, Nextel Communications, Singular, and T-Mobile. In March 2011, the Supreme Court of the United States declined to hear the case. In October 2013, Eminem sampled Chicago-based rap group Hot Stults's 2008 viral hit, "Lookin' Boy," for his 2013 hit single Rap God. The group claims that Eminem did not receive permission to use the sample, nor did he credit or compensate them. In November 2013, Hot Stults released a diss track towards Eminem titled Rap Fraud, where they sample several of his songs and criticize him for not crediting them. In January 2015, TMZ reported that Hot Stults was suing Eminem and his label, Shady Records, for $8 million, for using the 25-second sample of Lookin' Boy on his song Rap God without their permission. United States Secret Service. On December 8, 2003, the the United States Secret Service reported that it was looking into allegations that Eminem threatened U.S. President George W. Bush in We as Americans, with the lyrics, "Fuck money, I don't rap for dead presidents. I'd rather see the president dead, it's never been said but I set precedents." The incident was included in the video for Mosh, as a newspaper clipping on a wall with articles about unfortunate incidents in Bush's career. We as Americans eventually appeared on Encore's deluxe edition bonus disc, with altered lyrics. In 2018-2019, the Secret Service interviewed Eminem again regarding threatening lyrics towards President Donald Trump and daughter Ivanka. Allegations of homophobia. Some of Eminem's lyrics have been considered homophobic and an Australian politician attempted to ban him from the country. Eminem denies the charge, saying that when he was growing up words such as faggot and queer were used generally in a derogatory manner and not specifically toward homosexuals. During a 2010 60 Minutes interview, journalist Anderson Cooper explored the issue. Eminem was accused yet again of using homophobic words in his lyrics in Rap God and explained, "I don't know how to say this without saying it how I've said it a million times. But that word, those kind of words, when I came up battle rappin' or whatever, I never really equated those words." Eminem is a friend of gay singer Elton John, and publicly supports gay rights. When asked in an interview with the New York Times about the subject of same-sex marriage being legalized in his home state of Michigan, Eminem responded, "I think if two people love each other, then what the hell? I think that everyone should have the chance to be equally miserable, if they want," explaining that his overall look on things is a lot more mature than it used to be. Legacy. Credited for popularizing hip-hop to a middle American audience, Eminem's unprecedented global commercial success and acclaimed works for a white rapper is widely recognized for breaking racial barriers for the acceptance of white rappers in popular music. Rising from rags to riches, Eminem's anger-fueled music represented widespread angst and the reality of American underclass. He has been greatly influential for artists of various genres. Stephen Hill, the then vice president of African American-themed television network BET, said in 2002 Eminem gets a pass in the same vein that back during segregation black folks had to be better than average, had to be the best, to be accepted. He is better than the best. In his own way, he is the best lyricist, alliterator, and enunciator out there in hip-hop music. In terms of rapping about the pain that other disenfranchised people feel, there is no one better at their game than Eminem. In 2002, the BBC said that the perception of Eminem as a modern-day William Shakespeare was comparable to the reception of American singer Bob Dylan. Not since Bob Dylan's heyday in the mid-1960s has an artist's output been subjected to such intense academic scrutiny as an exercise in contemporary soul-searching. U.S. critics point to vivid portraits of disenfranchised lives using the stark, direct language of the street as an accurate reflection of social injustice. In addition, the BBC highlighted that, where parents once recoiled in horror, there now seems a greater willingness to acknowledge a music that is striking such a chord among the American young, angry white underclass. Dan Ozzie of Vice highlighted that Eminem during the early 2000s was the one artist high school kids seemed to unanimously connect with. He represented everything high school years are about: blind rage, misguided rebellion, adolescent frustration. He was like a human middle finger. An X-rated Dennis the Menace for a dial-up modem generation. Writing for Spin in 2002, rock critic Alan Light compared Eminem to the Beatles' John Lennon. Eminem is even starting to bear a resemblance to one of those rock icons. Marshall Mathers is becoming something like this generation's John Lennon. Lennon and Eminem were both subjects of pickets and protests. They both wrote songs about troubled relationships with their mothers. They both wrote about their strange public lives with their wives. They both wrote about how much they loved their kids. Lennon, of course, was able to find ways to use his voice to advocate for peace rather than just blasting away at litigious family members and various pop stars, but still, few other pop musicians since Lennon have found a way to render their private psychodramas into compelling art as effectively as Eminem. Regarding his rehearsal with Eminem for the Stan duet at the 2001 Grammy Awards, English singer Elton John said, "Eminem made his entrance, I got goosebumps, the likes of which I have not felt since I first saw Jimi Hendrix, Mick Jagger, James Brown, and Aretha Franklin. Eminem was that good. I just thought, fuck, this man is amazing. There are very few performers who can grab you like that the first time, only the greats." John further praised Eminem, saying, "Eminem is a true poet of his time, someone we'll be talking about for decades to come. He tells stories in such a powerful and distinctive way. As a lyricist, he's one of the best ever. Eminem does for his audience what Dylan did for his, he writes how he feels. His anger, vulnerability, and humor come out." Concerning the controversy surrounding Eminem due to his transgressive music, American entertainer Madonna had said, "I like the fact that Eminem is brash and angry and politically incorrect. He's stirring things up, he's provoking a discussion, he's making people's blood boil. He's reflecting what's going on in society right now. That is what art is supposed to do." American musician Stevie Wonder also said, "Rap to me is a modern blues, a statement of how and where people are at. I think art is a reflection of our society, and people don't like to confront the realities in society. But until we really confront the truth, we are going to have a Tupac or Eminem or Biggie Smalls to remind us about it, and thank God. They force people to look at realities in society." Eminem has been credited with boosting the careers of hip-hop protégés such as 50 Cent, Yellow Wolf, Stat Quo, Royce da 5 feet 9 inches, Kashis, Obi Trice, Bobby Creekwater, Boogie, and hip-hop groups such as D12 and Slaughterhouse. A number of artists have cited Eminem as an influence, including The Weeknd, Logic, Joyner Lucas, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, Kendrick Lamar, Ed Sheeran, J. Cole, Chance the Rapper, Regina Spektor, Lana Del Rey, and Juice WRLD. Achievements and honors. With global sales of over 220 million records, Eminem is one of the best-selling music artists of all time. He has had 13 #1 albums on the Billboard 200, 9 solo, 2 with D12 and 1 with Bad Meets Evil. He was the best-selling music artist from 2000 to 2009 in the US according to Nielsen SoundScan. He was also the best-selling male music artist in the United States of the 2010s. He has sold 47.4 million albums in the country and 107.5 million singles in the US. The Marshall Mathers LP, The Eminem Show, Curtain Call, The Hits, Lose Yourself, Love the Way You Lie and Not Afraid have all been certified diamond or higher by the Recording Industry Association of America. Eminem has over 10 billion views of his music videos on his YouTube Vivo page, and in 2014 Spotify named him the most streamed music artist of all time. Among Eminem's awards is 15 Grammy Awards, 8 American Music Awards and 17 Billboard Music Awards. Billboard named him the Artist of the Decade. In 2013, he received the Global Icon Award at that year's MTV Europe Music Awards ceremony. His success in 8 Mile saw him win the 2002 Academy Award for Best Original Song for his song Lose Yourself, co-written with Jeff Bass and Luis Resto, making him the first rapper to receive the award. He also won the MTV Movie and TV Awards for Best Actor in a Movie and Best Breakthrough Performance and the Critics' Choice Movie Award for Best Song for Lose Yourself. Eminem has also been included and ranked in several publications' lists. Rolling Stone included him in its list of the 100 greatest artists of all time and the 100 greatest songwriters of all time. He was ranked 9th on MTV's Greatest MCs of All Time list. He was ranked 13th on MTV's 22 Greatest Voices in Music list and 79th on the VH1 100 Greatest Artists of All Time lists. He was ranked 82nd on Rolling Stone's The Immortals list. In 2010, MTV Portugal ranked Eminem the 7th biggest icon in popular music history. In 2012, The Source ranked him 6th on their list of the top 50 lyricists of all time, while About.com ranked him 7th on its list of the 50 greatest MCs of our time. In 2015, Eminem was placed 3rd on the 10 best rappers of all time list by Billboard. In 2008, Vibe readers named Eminem the best rapper alive. In 2011, Eminem was labeled the King of Hip-Hop by Rolling Stone based on an analysis of album sales, chart positions, YouTube views, social media following, concert grosses, industry awards, and critical ratings of solo rappers who released music from 2009 to the first half of 2011. Eminem was also nominated in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame class of 2022, alongside Duran Duran and Dolly Parton. Discography. Studio albums. Infinite. The Slim Shady LP. The Marshall Mathers LP. The Eminem Show. Encore. Relapse. Recovery. The Marshall Mathers LP 2. Revival. Kamikaze. Music to be Murdered by Collaborative Albums. Devil's Night. D12 World. Hell, the sequel. Concert tours. As a headliner. The Slim Shady LP Tour. The Recovery Tour. Rapture Tour. Revival Tour. Rapture 2019 as a CO headliner. Up in Smoke Tour. Anger Management Tour. The Home and Home Tour. The Monster Tour. Bibliography.